Hi, everybody. Mr. Burns here. I'm not going to be in class the next couple of days. I'm doing a training on, it's a Bedote trip. It's on Native American culture locally and then how we can integrate it into our teaching. Um, anyway, you have an activity that you're going to be completing in class today. Um, the point of this or the way you should see this activity is it is going to give you an opportunity to see how you might design your own case study. So you guys have begun the process of and are partway through creating a case study you're going to present to a small group of students. And as part of that, you're going to need to have a strategy for teaching us about the important parts of your case. Um, and what I'd really like to see is that you kind of have a variety of things going on. So over the next couple weeks, or today and then next week, really, I'm going to be showing you some models for what that could look like as you go into the process of designing what you're going to do. So let's start here. Today's case study is called a mini brain case study, and you'll learn what that means here as we go through. If you go into the course in Schoology, you're going to see a folder that is titled the Mini Brain Case Study. It's all the way down at the bottom here. It's orange. And if you open it up, you'll find some instructions. Now, I'm assuming since you're here, you've already found the directions, the link here, which is going to be under this link here. The activities in this folder have to be completed in order. So you have to view this video before you can make a submission to the first object. You have to make a submission to the first image examination assignment right here before you can make a submission to the final assignment. And I'm going to use the work that you do on the final assignment as evidence of your ability to analyze a case study, identify bioethical questions in a case, and then talk a little bit about stakeholder positions. Now, let's say you don't have your Chromebook. If you don't have your materials with you, hopefully you're listening to this on a cell phone or you're listening to this on your neighbor's phone. You can do all of this work by looking at somebody else's device or looking at your cell phone and then doing the work on a blank piece of paper. So go up to the front of the room, get a blank piece of paper, and do it there. I expect everybody to participate in this activity. And the evidence of both your participation as well as the evidence that I'll use for assessing your ability to read and analyze is going to be contained here in these documents. So here's what to do. So you'll listen to this video. The first item in here is called image examination. You open that up. For those of you who haven't used Google assignments before, this is what it's going to look like. You will, well, yours is going to look slightly different to mine, but you'll open your own local copy of it. And when you do that, you're going to get a page that looks like this. Now, this will create your own copy. And as you fill it out, it's going to do that on yours alone. And then you'll submit it back to the assignment. Right? So you'll make a submission. Once you've submitted to that assignment, it'll open up the next assignment. So the first activity is this. You have an image here, and I want you to spend a couple minutes, as it describes here, looking at it. Force yourself to look at all the different things that are present. Read the words. Look at each of the different pictures, even if you don't understand them. In fact, I don't really expect most of you to understand exactly what you're looking at. And then you're going to complete this table. So you're going to identify what you noticed, at least 3 things. 2 of them should be things you didn't immediately notice, so those kind of deeper things that you noticed as you paid more and more attention to it. So really take a couple minutes, take some time to really look at it. It'll open up your mind to be thinking about what we'll do next. And then consider what it reminds you of. So try to make some connections to other things you've observed or other things you've thought about, whether it's in this class or anywhere in your life. Okay? And then finally, what questions do you have? where I'd like you to write at least 2 questions, but one of them has to be a specific question. It can't be a general question. So like, you can't say, what is this about? Or what is that thing on the end? That's fine for one of them, but at least one question needs to be, I want you to push yourself to ask something specific, and try to connect it and make meaning. Um, and then finally, propose an explanation for why this image was created. So the artist that created this, what was their purpose in making it? Do you believe, right? That could include what you think it's about, if you'd like, but it's also going to be why it was made in the first place. Okay, so you'll make a submission there. And once you've submitted to that, you should be able to go back to the assignment here in Schoology, and you should see this is completed, which means this one will be open. You will do the same thing. You'll go in. It's a Google assignment, so it'll have a similar look. You'll open up your own local copy, and you'll see this reading. Okay, so a few paragraphs, about a page worth of text, and I'd like you to go through and skim it once and then reread it again more carefully and slowly and use some of those annotation strategies we've practiced before in class. You're looking for facts that might be important. If you've scanned it once, you'll already kind of have a sense of what the ethical questions are, and then you'll be able to go back and isolate the facts that you're going to use at the end. So once you're done with scanning through it and annotating and thinking about it, I want you to do this. I want you to start by typing out what you believe the ethical question is, or the problem, the ethical problem created by the research described, both in the image from before, which is an image of that research, but also by the description here. And then once you've written that ethical question or stated the ethical problem, you're going to go through and you're going to break down 2 different stakeholders in this decision. So I'd like them to be opposing views on this topic. And the article does a pretty good job of kind of introducing what those 2 sides might be. But you're still going to have to look for those facts that they might rely on in order to support their position. And you'll kind of create, this is sort of our 3-legged stool idea, right? So you'll write down their action, then you'll list the facts that they would focus on, right? This doesn't need to be a balanced position. You want to say, what would this person talk about if they were talking about their beliefs about the case? And then you want to identify the approach that they wish we would take towards this research and why. So, right, so like, what is it that they would like? What is the approach that they are using in bioethics? And then what values do they have that led them to focus on those facts and focus on those bioethical approaches, right? What do you believe that they're valuing? And you can do that twice, one for each of the stakeholders. And ultimately, this is what I'm going to be assessing most directly. I'm going to look at your other work to see if you had kind of done some processing, but ultimately this is what I'm going to grade. So it should take most of the class period if you really take your time to consider and work through it carefully and slowly. And then any extra time you have, go ahead and use it to get back to your individual research project and start thinking about or start working through some of the information you have to create your own case. All right, thanks guys, and I will see you back here on Friday.